watching this video. Remember to join my page, like, comment, and share. And of course, today's message is about perseverance. It's about understanding who you are. You see, the Lord has instilled blessings upon you. Demons do not have a physical body, but we, human beings, we have domain on this earth. We have domain in our environment. And because God has blessed us with so many things, all He wants us to do, right, is to follow His instructions. Imagine creating a world where we have so much blessings. However, we have instructions with those blessings, and the instructions follow 10 steps, but they vary in those 10 steps, just like the commandments. Once you follow these steps, now each step, right, is different. However, if you continue to follow these steps, the changes that will take place in your life will help to elevate you. It will help to give you a better position. It is not about the materialistic things, because you see many people thrive or look upon their success based on the materialistic things. Things of the flesh, things that will wither away, things that will pass away. However, if you sell your soul for things of the flesh, then what will happen at the end times, at the times of judgment, at the times when you are standing before God? What will happen? Because you see, we live in a world, we live in a society where one must take upon the cross the spiritual life, right? The spiritual life is going to determine your physical life. The main purpose of the existence of human beings is to become one with the Father, so that we can fulfill our purpose of creation. The Lord will use you regardless, whether you find your destiny or not. He will use you for a purpose because He is the Creator. However, we ourselves do not have the insights or the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to do it on our own. And that is the missing part of our body. It's the missing part of our void within our hearts, right? Take, for example, we create digital devices. We create physical, artificial intelligence. Now that artificial intelligence require knowledge, right, through the algorithm to be able to conduct in the way that we want the artificial intelligence to conduct, right? Without the knowledge, without the insight, without all the extra information, it cannot progress. And so because of this, we have to take into consideration the ways we live. Our Creator, we must find our Creator. We must know our Creator. We must have a relationship with our Creator. We must develop this every single day. You have devices, you need to charge them. In order to charge yourself, you have to pray. You have to meditate, right? All these things are apparent because that is the same kind of method we use for our creation. our physical creation that we make, devices, components, anything, right? We have to charge it to a degree. If you don't charge yourself, you eventually run out of power. If you run out of power, then you're subject to any type of force. Anywhere the wind blows, you go. Any foundation that, you, whether you agree or you don't, you go. That is the results of selling your soul. A lot of people, some people sell their soul for money. At least they know that they have sold their soul for money. But some people have sold their soul and they don't even know that they have sold their soul, simply because they have indoctrinated into a culture that is not going anywhere. Meaning that human beings' natural instinct, right, is to what? Is to go with what they know, what they have been raised on, right? That's why God says you have to be born again. Once you're born again, you are different. You are doing things different. You understand what's it called, goal, your journey, your path. You understand that to be different. You see what I mean? When it's different, then your understanding of success is different, right? What God says is successful is much different than what man says is successful. Man's success is, you know, having all these assets, having all these resources, having all of these things. However, you've seen in the Bible, right? Even though Solomon had all of this wealth, his greatest his greatest asset that he had was the wisdom that the Lord gave him after he offered 1,000 offerings to the Lord. Do you see what I'm saying? So what is your greatest asset? Right? Him knowing God one-on-one, speaking to God, knowing the customs of God, and to be able to offer these sacrifices, 1,000 offerings, right, at the altar, led him to that level of wisdom. So, what are you offering God today? Because it's almost like this: God made everything, right? He gave you everything, He created everything. And then He asks for you to give Him the things them that He created so He can give you more, right? He's the only God that you offer things that are harming you, right? They're harming you. And He gives you something like the remedy for that. So He betters you, He gives you better things. So you give Him old things and He gives you new things. You give Him sorrow, He gives you happiness, right? You give Him sadness, He gives you joy, right? You give Him sickness, He gives you health, right? Basically, you are giving Him death and He's giving you life. Remember that. God gives life. And He's a purpose. You give Him no purpose, you don't, you say, Lord, I have no purpose, or I don't see my purpose, because everything has a purpose, but I don't understand, or I don't know, or I don't know which direction I'm going in. And God can essentially say, you know what? I am going to give you a path. I know there's no paths there because you have seen it. Many knows that there's no path, but what a man cannot make, or a man cannot make that path, but God can make a path. For even John the Baptist, he said, look, this rock, if the Lord wanted, He can make it into humans, into children, for the rock to worship Him. And if that is apparent, then what does that mean? That is telling you God can do what he wants to do. But imagine it giving you that level of respect. You know, if he was such an aggressive, evil God, does he give you so much chances? He created everything. People are blaming him today for the messes that we created as humans. People say, well, it's too much to fathom. No, it's too much to fathom with your carnal mind. Because you're not supposed to understand God with your mind. You're not supposed to understand God with your flesh. You're supposed to understand God with your spirit. Because he says, the time will come. To the lady of Samaria, he said, the time will come when you will not worship God in any temple, but in spirit. There is no certain place, anywhere you can worship God. Anywhere. Anywhere you choose to, you can worship God. People do not understand that. But it's better you do so. Your masters is not of this world. Yes, there's rules in this world. However, you can be, caught up in the rules. However, if you give your life to God and you follow that path, regardless of what takes place here, God is the final judge. There is no actual judge over God. God appoints judges, appoints kings, appoints presidents, prime ministers, and all of these people. Even if the devil has influence in all of those, God is the reason why the devil has his position. So everything goes in humanity order. Everything goes in the scrolls of life, the order of life, how things are supposed to be. For the devil's deal with God, right, is different from our dealings with God. How we get treated with God if we don't reject him. Think about it. In the spiritual, there is no you do your thing and I do my thing. You only worship one God because he has all the powers. Do you see what I mean? He has all the powers. So if he has all the powers, then he gives the power. If he has all the powers, then he gives the power. And so all of those other gods essentially have what? Borrowed a time frame. That's why they have time. Right? A true God has no time. There's no boundary of time on a true God. Right? There is none. And the only true living God is not bound by time because what's in us is not confined by time. Do you see what I mean? Our flesh, right? Because our body, right? This body that we have is not our original heavenly body. It is not the original body in the garden, right? It is a modified due to the environment and the conditions and, the type of minerals and vitamins that we are subject to. Nowadays, people are saying, organic things are things of the past, right? Most things that are written organic are not really organic. They just say it in order to price hike the situation. And that's what's happening, right? So, I mean, things have changed. People used to live for hundreds of years. But now, people are living for not even hundreds of days. The environment has changed. The air quality, everything has changed. So what is people going to do about this? What are the changes that needs to take place in order for us to become better people? Hmm? Think about it. The only thing left that I can see is you give it to God, right? Live your righteous life or try to, but give everything to God and let God know what you're doing, right? Because decisions that you make are not always going to be the the right one. You know, they're not. However, let God know. Because you see, anything that you have difficulty with, anything that you are blessed or given, let God know. Just like food that you have made, even yourself. You don't know what takes place in the spiritual. So it's best you pray on it before you eat. How often does people do that? People just, oh, God knows. Just, but pray. Just have the faith to do what is necessary. You do these things, believe me, changes will come. But the changes is not what is apparent to people. The changes are inside. Take, for example, a cup, right? Just like this one. This cup, right? You have a cup. Now, think about it. What's in the cup? Well, I don't know if it showed, but yeah. So, this cup is a representation of your flesh, right? Then you have the inside of the cup. The inside of the cup is the inside of the flesh. Now, what you decide to fill the cup with will determine who you are. If you fill it with materialistic things, then your focus, your everything will be about materialistic things, your desires. Now, listen, don't get me wrong, you need some materialistic things in order to physically survive, right? But if you go overboard and your whole entirety of positioning is about materialistic things, eventually, right? Eventually, when, right? When you need the important things, you're not going to be able to get it. What is purity? What is genuine? It's your spiritual life. If you fill it with true living God, right? If you charge your spiritual life, God will give you, will activate, I should say, will activate your spiritual capabilities. It's like you're growing to levels, right? You're growing to levels. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and you're able to see different spiritual things. Do you see what I mean? And you'll be able to connect deeper. So try to fill your cup with purity. And ask God to help you do so. In society, the people in society, they move, they're alive, they're active because of true living God, Yahweh, because of Yahweh. So we must understand that it is good health. While you're in good health, while you have life, while you have time, do the best you can. Do not let others dictate what you should do. Though they may try, do not let that happen. Do not allow finance, because you see, finance is one of the biggest weapons of the enemy, right? Financially, they try to um, keep you grounded so that you're not able to pursue your vision or your dream or your destiny because you don't have. That is why Jesus Christ walked into the wilderness, fasted for 40 days, and Satan tried to offer him materialistic things in order for him to sell his soul. And see, that is the highest level of bargaining and negotiation that Satan has. As soon as you defeat Satan, you know what he does, or you're about to defeat him, he offers you materialistic things. Because he says, well, that is something that I know will solve your problems, right? It will be a problem solver, not knowing that it will bring headache, because the devil never gives, he takes. Rock foundation. You see what I'm saying? He never gives. The things that he's given is not even his. He's just taken from you, you know? So don't never make deals with the devil. And if you do have any deals, break them. Pray and ask for protection. Ask to break every covenant, whether you know it or you don't know it. In the name of Jesus Christ, break every covenant that you have made with any dark forces, whether you know it or not, because sometimes you're not even aware of what is going on or who's who, because we don't operate in the flesh. You see, I said that, you're like, well, you know, your flesh, you're physically there, but you need energy, and it's either a positive or negative energy that has influence on your movements. If you have none, you can't move a muscle. You see what I mean? So you need energy. You need it to be active, right? So read the Bible, pray at everything, pray about everything. The Bible says pray without ceasing, because there'll be a time where, you know, reading the Word of God will be illegal. You won't be able to read it, right? But praying recharges everything. Praying, right, gets you closer to God. That means your reasoning, your understanding, your knowledge, your wisdom, all of those things will be subject to you, right, connecting with God through your soul. Because through your soul, if you connect with God, then anything that is physically taken from you, because the devil has authority over those physical things, right? Temporary things, the devil has authority over those things. But eternal things, the devil does not have any bondage. Even people selling their souls, souls does not belong to the devil, doesn't belong to you, it belongs to God. So God, that's why God has dominion. He can call the spirits and speak to them. He has power over, you know, good and evil. Why wouldn't you want to serve a God that has solutions for every problem you could ever encounter? Hmm? That is the question of the day. Let me know what you guys think. Because you see, don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until, you know, they say, well, the mark of the beast is something that, you know, It's apparent and is going to be in the near future, very soon. If it's not already here, it's just, slowly rising to the surface. Basically, what it is, it's slowly rising. When things are basically embarked on and the commands come from certain places, it just takes time to um, swindle through the societies and the nations, and then it brings it up, uprooting. Because obviously, there's going to be situations where that has to take place because there's a, a type of plan that is structured together in order for that to come, right? Which is safety, right? I mean, safety is something that they can always um, stand on as a form of foundational um, execution, right? So they can use that, the fact that the environment is not safe, the fact that, yeah, the people are not safe, their information are not safe, which is happening, right? There's so many things that are taking place, which is happening, right? So the more and more further it gets, then at the end of the day, you need it for that. You need it for this. You need it for that. And then those are the positions. So think about it. Assets will soon not be anybody's. It will belong to the country that you live in, the government that, what's it called, is basically ruling that country, or if it's one world order, which is going to belong to one super organization. That's basically what's going to happen. I hope you guys are ready. However, remember, be prepared to, to lose all the physical things. It's not going to be easy, but if you say, Lord, I will worship you in spirit and in truth, whatever takes place, I will be okay with that as long as I have you, you know, as long as you have the Lord, then things should be okay because it's not going to be easy for anybody because human beings grow attachment to physical things a lot of times. However, people have to really analyze. If you buy a house and you don't own the land, the house is not really yours. Do you see what I mean? Because guess what? You can't pick up the house when you're moving and take it with you, right? You cannot do that. And however, you can't pick up the land. So if the land does not belong to you, then it belongs to the government. As long as you have to keep paying taxes, nothing truly belongs to you, right? Just maybe the clothes on your back and the food that you eat. And that, in a technical way, could also be an argument, right? So just think about it. If you see that everything is truly you're borrowing for either a very long time or generation, decades after decades, centuries after centuries, or you're borrowing for a short period of time. That's why your focus should not be mostly about materialistic things. It should be about getting closer to the Father. But remember, you're sheep, but be wise sheep, right? Because wolves can disguise themselves as sheep to deceive you, to trick you, right? So, because of that, take time to connect with the Lord. You see what I mean? Take time to do these things. And remember, you're not going to be perfect. However, be sharp to learn, right? If something affects you, learn from that. Think about it. right? If something seems like it's too good to be true, usually it is. You see what I mean? Consult God all the time. Use your spiritual discernment, right? Continue. Stay motivated, like, comment, and share. Words of wisdom. What you guys think of this conversation that we had today. Do not focus on what is the flesh all the time, but what is the spirit, and use the spirit to lead the flesh. Have a great day. Bye now.